What grossed you out so much in a relationship that you just left? Story 1. I had gotten to the point in the relationship where he didn't mind me in the bathroom while he used it. He took a shit and wiped once, didn't even look at the toilet paper, then started pulling his pants up. I immediately asked what the F he was doing and how the F he thought one little wipe was going to do a damn thing. And he was like, I've never needed more than one look, then wiped again, probably expecting nothing to be there. There was a lot there. I don't know, I guess the idea of him just carrying on with his day with shit regularly caked up in his ass painted him in a different light for me. Wasn't ever able to reignite the attraction. Probably should have been the person-sized pile of garbage in his room that made me reconsider, but I had further limits than most, I suppose. Story 2. I'm late to the party, but there was a guy in my social circle that I had crazy sexual tension with. Nothing happened for the longest time. Then one day we bumped into each other in the city. Had a few drinks. The tension was unbearable and we went back to his place. An aside, I'd never had that kind of casual sex before. I'm the sort of person that needs to be in a relationship. But the chemistry with him was so intense he was an exception. So we get to his place, tearing off each other's clothes. He lies me down on the bed, pulls my panties off, and sees my vagina for the first time. Want to know what he fucking said? He breathlessly said, "Oh my god, you look like a little girl. You're perfect. What the fuck?" Story 3. My ex used to say, constantly, that she wanted to be inside my skin. It was her way of saying she desired me. But it was fucking weird and off-putting, so I asked her to stop and she couldn't understand what was so uncomfortable about what she was saying. Pretty soon after that I went on a week-long work trip, and 3 days into it she called and told me the whole time I've been gone she wanted to cheat on me. Then she asked me if she could see other people while I'm gone. I broke up with her pretty much instantaneously. Story 4. It was 2 separate incidents, but long story short, one night she got super drunk at my sister-in-law's house. After spilling a second glass of red wine on my Sil's white carpet, we opted to move her glass further away from the edge of the table. As soon as we left, she screamed, like full-fledged raged, at me for not defending her. The very next time we were together, she got drunk again and accused me of trying to cheat on her and threw her purse at me. I let things calm down and explained to her that I grew up in a house chock full of domestic violence, and that was an absolute line in the sand. And for that reason, I was out. Story 5. Dated a girl for a while. Always seemed really well put together. Nice clothes, hair, and makeup. We usually hooked up at my place. Went to her apartment once, and the smell when she opened the door should have been enough. There were dirty diapers, overflowing trash cans in every room of the house. There was a super small walkway through the mounds of dirty clothes to the bathroom. And to make it worse, there were used paper plates on top of the mountain of dirty dishes in the sink. She proudly pointed out a moldy dish and said that it was from when she cooked dinner for 2 of our mutual friends 3 months prior. Nope, the hell out of there. Story 6. At a party with some of my closest friends and a lot of their mutuals, one of our friends who had recently been diagnosed with cancer was sharing some of his experience with chemo. My then GF interrupted him by saying, "Oh, come on, it's not that big of a deal. We all probably have cancer. Moles are usually cancer. Look, I've probably had cancer in all these places on my arm where I had moles removed. There are a lot of other issues that lead to it, but I broke up with her a few days later. I was just so appalled by her lack of self-awareness. These were my friends who I had known for a decade, and she'd only known them for about a year. And we were in a small group of maybe 9 people, most of whom she hadn't even met before. It disgusted me and I couldn't spend the rest of my night near her. Ended it within the week." Story 7. He and I had just started dating. He was going through a divorce and was low on money. I invited him up for a romantic weekend, paid for a hotel room and food, helped him with gas money, and even gave him some grocery money for the next week. All my treat. I was happy to help, and I didn't ask for repayment. Just asked him to get dinner next time we saw each other, if he could. He had the absolute audacity to text me, when he got home, that I was irresponsible with money. Edit, well shit, this blew up. To clarify a few things, I had enough of my own money that I was comfortable spending it on a romantic weekend for the both of us. I made it clear to him that I didn't expect anything in return, except if he wanted to pay for dinner or whatever the next time we saw each other. He did go through with the divorce, and last I knew, he was seeing someone else, but I can't be sure since he has me blocked on social media like the pussy he is. No hard feelings though. This was a couple years ago, and thankfully we weren't seeing each other long enough for me to be emotionally invested in the relationship. Very much a bullet dodged. Edit 2. Okay, maybe I'm a little bitter about the whole thing, but I really hadn't given it much thought until this question was posted. He blocked me quite a few months after our relationship ended. He did unfriend me right after, but as we had a few mutual friends, we still commented on a few of the same posts. And we're cordial to each other on SM. I think blocking me was a pussy move, but I do hope he's happy and has grown up since we dated. Our relationship only lasted a couple of months, and it was around the beginning on COVID, so it's been a good while. Was he embarrassed about having no money and having me spend a decent amount on him? Maybe, but he certainly didn't have a problem when I offered. I didn't force the issue, even with the grocery money. It wasn't a super expensive hotel. They weren't fancy dinners, and I didn't flaunt the money I had. I just wanted to treat him to a nice weekend because I felt we both deserved it. Story 8. When I saw his apartment, the smell hit me first. Just smelled like dog pee and this strong, wet, musty smell. I couldn't be in there without the windows open. Piles of stuff everywhere, so much that it was spreading to the outdoor balcony and Diet Coke cans on every surface. The carpet was so dirty you could see all around the edges of the wall a little brown accumulation. And the dog wasn't potty trained. While the poo would get picked up, the pee was never clean, so it soaked into the carpet, and I learned quickly that if I didn't have shoes on, I might get a wet little surprise soaking through my socks. The kitchen tile always felt tacky and greasy. He rarely did laundry of any kind. In fact, I never once saw him do laundry except the one time I offered to for him. He even had a little gaming den. Fortunately, the dog wasn't allowed in there. But again, I could see it had never been cleaned once. Dirt and dust and stuff piled everywhere. Cans and old plates of food left out. He told me once that he wanted to get a mini fridge for it so he never had to get up. I was adamant that he didn't. I don't care if it's his place. The next step after that is peeing in bottles. It was shocking. He seemed so put together on the outside. And then to see how he lived, and this was after cleaning all day. Yish. I don't know if that was more gross or the women don't know what it's like to work. Women can't be trusted. Women this, women that. Boo-hoo comments. Also just want to add on. No, I'm not making fun a depressed person. He was pretty happy, active, and could justify anything he did with ease. If anything, he had ASPD. Story 9. I have told this story about a dozen times on Reddit. The first night I slept at my ex's apartment. I woke up in the middle of the night to an extremely loud scraping noise. It was inside my ear. A roach had crawled into my ear and was scraping against my eardrums with its legs, antennas, whatever. It was the most awful feeling I've ever experienced. I used tweezers to try to get it out, and when I pulled them out after a few times, only half the roach came out. Had to go to the ER to get the rest out and get antibiotics. I had a horrible ear infection for a couple of weeks. The worst part was her saying it happens to my son all the time. Like WTF. Found out she hid for wrappers and trash under her bed. Clean your fucking house. It has literally haunted me and given me PTSD. When I'm sleeping, if I hear the slightest noise, I jump up and swat uncontrollably around my head, ears. My wife was shocked after the first time I did it when we were dating, but since I told her, she fully understands law. Edit. My top comments are always about my fucking ex-girlfriends. Fuck. Story 10. She was almost perfect for the first year that we dated, to the point to where I considered marriage with her. Our leases were up around the same time, so we decided to move in together. Not even a month into us living together, she turned into a completely different person. She started instigating fights over very small things, blowing things out of proportion, accusing me of cheating when I'd have to work late. She'd pack her things to leave but would never actually leave, just like the fight of me trying to talk her down. One day we were at a movie store in the mall together, and I was looking at the back of a movie at the description. She accused me of ogling over the actress that was on the movie case, stormed out of the movie store, left the mall, left me there with no ride home, and didn't answer her phone. I got the fuck out of there as soon as I could. After I left, she'd text me paragraphs of apologies begging me to take her back or she'd kill herself. Sent me pictures of her cutting herself. I had to have her number blocked. She then started stalking me at work and coming to my friend's house that I was staying at. Ended up getting a restraining order against her. Thank you for watching, my dearest human friends. I'm just a little robot trying my best to read, but it would make my circuits tingle with joy if you could hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more exciting Reddit stories. Thank you for your support and kindness. It means the world to me.